Ever since the US-China trade war began, there's been much talk about how it presented India with an opportunity. Tariffs imposed by the US government, along with rising labor costs in China, were expected to catalyze firms wanting to relocate manufacturing. Decoupling, in fact, became the buzzword of the times. Three specific factors were responsible for amplifying this dynamic: China's economic rise, along with authoritarianism in Beijing's politics, the disenchantment of Western populations with what they saw as the lopsided benefits of globalization. This has fanned populist nationalism across the West. And finally, technological advancements promising the fourth industrial revolution have intensified competition among states. All this also coincided with the Indian government pushing its new Make in India policy. Yet there were few gains for India. The economic argument for firms to relocate to India remained weak, despite the size of the Indian market. This was particularly the case as businesses could relocate to any of the East Asian economies of Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, or Singapore. These countries generally rank better than India on metrics such as export basket similarity, wages, investment climate, and institutional strengths. Then the pandemic hit. The shutdowns that were imposed by countries prompted demands for supply chain resilience and redundancies. National security priorities of states began to expand, with sectors like healthcare and pharmaceuticals coming under that purview. And China's mask diplomacy added to the anxieties about the vulnerabilities of dependence on any single market, along with the need to secure one's own innovations. Essentially, the pandemic accelerated the trend of deglobalization, with politics and trust becoming much more important in economic decision-making. This scenario has resulted in fresh opportunities for India. In our latest study, we examined 4 approaches that Indian policymakers can adopt to target foreign firms. These are an efficiency-based approach, which involves relying on economic arguments to make the case for India as a global manufacturing hub, or a case-by-case approach which focuses on sectors in which India enjoys comparative strengths. A risk-based approach, this involves pitching India as an alternative destination for firms to hedge their risks when it comes to operating in China. And finally, a GeoStrategic approach that calls for focus on key bilateral and multilateral partnerships with states concerned about the strategic implications of China's dominance in key supply chains. We then assess these 4 approaches on the parameters of ease of implementation and impact in the short term. The assessment led us to recommend the adoption of a mix of the case-by-case and geostrategy-led approaches. These allow for harnessing India's comparative strengths and emerging geopolitical trends. This not only makes them easier to pursue, but also improves the chances of tangible success in the short term. For a deeper dive into the pros and cons of each of these approaches and our assessment, check out our discussion slide doc. Also, to watch more such videos, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon.